All right. Welcome back. This is Billy with Coach Dooley's List, and today I'm here at Gainesville High School with the head volleyball coach, Christina Lecoeuvre. Coach, thank you so much for meeting with us.
Thanks for coming this way to Red Kingdom. Welcome.
This place is amazing. I just got the tour, and for those of you who have not been over here, it's pretty impressive. So,
like our athletic director always tells everybody, we're trying to run it like a D1 university and give those kids the experience of a D1 university. And I think our facilities speak on that. And so we're very fortunate for what we have here for sure.
Oh, it's a campus.
Yeah.
I've texted you a couple of times to figure out where to go. But, Coach, we always jump right into it. Just tell everybody a little bit about your coaching journey and how you ended up here in Gainesville.
I love when we initially were talking and I asked you, like, what kind of questions? I love when you said journey, because literally that's what it is. And I mean, anybody who's coached for a decent amount of time, it's a journey, and it's full of hills, valleys, steeps, peaks, all the good stuff. But this is my 18th year teaching and coaching. I started off, I played Division II volleyball down in Savannah, Georgia. And then after I graduated, I took a job at Windsor Forest High School, and they offered me the varsity volleyball position. And I just knew I love volleyball and I love the game of volleyball. And so there I was, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at 24 years old, right out of college, coaching a varsity team down there. And I just fell in love with it. Like, that's my extension of the game that I love so much. Like, that's what I always tell people. Like, I love volleyball. I love the skills it has taught me, the character traits it's taught me, the lessons it's taught me, the adversity it's taught me, just everything about the game that I love. So when I got an opportunity to coach, I just kind of fell in love with that, because I can't play anymore. I mean, I think I can, but then, we're old. So my mind knows what to do, but when I get on the court, my body does it. So I spent, we were down in Savannah for about 8 years. I served as the varsity head coach down there. In my first season, I was showing you that picture earlier in my office, 8 girls I had on my team. 8 girls who don't play club volleyball. Some of them played basketball. Some of them were they were there because they were tall. But like, those were some of the best memories about it, because you talk about the progress you see and the growth you see in teams. And so, we love to win. Who doesn't love to win? That's everybody's competitive nature, but you don't coach for the wins and the losses. And so that was fun, seeing just their growth and them develop over the years, and kind of just to watch that program kind of start to grow and blossom. And then when Joel and I met, he took the job up here at Archer High School. And so we decided it was a good move for our family. And so by the grace of God, there was an opening at Buford Middle School for a volleyball coach. So I took that. I spent about 7-8 years at the middle school, and I loved it. It's funny because you go from high school then to middle school, but the developmental aspect of it was really rewarding for me at that age group. And I really am glad that I had that experience, because I think as a high school varsity coach, you need to know the importance of your middle school program and how important it is to develop that middle school program and to have the right people in place for that middle school program. So that was really fun. And we were very successful there. I mean, obviously that group of girls, like Gabby Curry, Tatum Shipes, like, I'm like walking in my first year, I'm like, these girls are like, could beat my varsity team.
They taught you something.
Yeah, this is, wow, they're stellar over here. And then Hadley called me, I think when Crystal Beach left, and she asked me if I wanted to kind of come up. I had actually just stepped away from coaching because we had our second daughter. And she's like, do you want to come out of retirement and come coach at the high school? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready for that. And so I spent the last 6 years at Buford High School, and the last 3 as their head coach. So that journey was fun in itself. The last 10 years that I spent there, I was very grateful for all of the success that we had, for some of the stellar athletes that I coached. And my favorite part about that was the state championship that we won, or one of the state championships, I should say, was with girls that I coached in middle school.
That's awesome.
Like, to be able to see these little babies as 6th graders and 7th graders and to coach them. And then now to have the opportunity as seniors to like win a state championship with them. Like, that's what dreams are made of, that's the why behind like a lot of the stuff that we do. And then this opportunity came knocking on the door, and it was just a good opportunity for me professionally, I think, to make the move. And it's been great. I really have loved it here. They treat me well here. I feel the support here, and the girls have really responded nicely. And so I'm kind of stepping into a situation where they've kind of had a lot of turnover in coaches the last couple of years. So I think they're looking for some stability, and really just trying to lay the foundation down the right way this year and just kind of show them what my way is.
And it takes a minute for sure. And so going from, you said Windsor Forest,
Yes.
starting a program, not really starting it, but building a
Right.
program, going to middle school and then growing with those kids, you kind of formulate your ideas about what you want. And I think it's cool, especially being, this is your first year
Yes.
here, right?
Yep.
So you have your first year. So you're trying to lay that foundation. So a year, 2, 3 years down the road, what are you trying to instill in your girls? And, what do you want your Lady Red Elephants to be known for?
And I love that you say that, because you have to have a vision to be able to find your purpose. And like, we actually just got done. We did a book study with the John Gordon bus, with the Energy Bus book by John Gordon. So we just finished that with the volleyball team, and it made like one of our rules is like drive with purpose. And so like, you got to know where you're going and you got to have a vision. Like, obviously my vision is to, Final Four state championship team, but there's going to be there's steps to take to get there. The foundation, we have 3 E's that I like go back to and that we always talk about: energy, effort, and empowerment. And then the empowerment piece is the most important piece to me, because especially when you're talking about female athletes, like, you can have all the talent you have, but if the girl doesn't have confidence on the court, you're not helping them maximize their ability.
For sure.
And just any adult watching this can tell you that kids are different nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And so my outline and structure on how to run a program is the same, but my approach is probably a little bit different this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've kind of taken a step back and be like, okay, like, what does this group of girls need from me? And I've talked with them. We've had a lot of open and honest conversations. Like, what do you need out of a coach to help? Like, I want to have those conversations so that I can give them what they need to help them be successful on the court. But that empowerment piece is like building them up, like, and making them feel good about themselves, but also instilling that in them so that they can go do that for their teammate when their teammate needs it, or they can go do that for that person in class who's having a hard day. So it's just like that empowerment piece is my favorite part, because it's so important in sports, and it's so important in life. And then that's what I tell the girls: in a world that constantly is knocking you down and beating you down, I want this team to be a safe space where we're building each other up and we're each other's support system. So that's a really big thing for me. Effort, we talk about effort, and it's actually funny. I was listening to Honeycutt the other day. He was talking to some of his D-line guys, and my office is across from the classroom, and he was laughing. He's like, "Oh God, what'd you hear?" I was like, "No, coach, you were good." But he really described what effort looked like. And I was like, that's good. They need something like a visual, not just say like, have more effort, like, well, what is
run
that?
hard means different for everybody.
Correct.
Or hustle.
Correct. So we've really like kind of like dove into that with a fine tooth comb on like what the expectation is, like effort, like not letting a ball drop on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, just little things like that we've defined. And then energy, and like the whole energy bus was good, because it's like, energy, it's vibes, kids call it vibes now. It's not, it's all about the vibe of it all. And so just kind of creating a positive and healthy vibe or energy amongst them. And I feel like that's one of my strengths. Like, everybody says you normally can hear me before you can see me, but I feel like I'm a very optimistic, upbeat person, and I want to kind of instill that in them, just to play with energy, play with passion, play with fire. Like, those are good things, but also like when things aren't going our way, we can still have energy and stay up. We can still empower each other, and we can still have effort. So just kind of instilling those 3 E's is kind of what my baseline is right now.
No, and I love that, because so much now, and I talked to Derek James down in South Georgia, and he talked about, and even Roger Parham said, and they both made comments about, you don't know what you don't know. And also don't ever just think that they know what you're talking about, because they don't.
Right.
And you have to show them everything. And that's no fault to kids, but if you want them to do what you want to do, you have to show them, whether it's getting out there at however old you are and trying to jump and your body not working. I know how that works.
Right.
Or saying, no, this is in literally even making the kids talk to each other. And you talk about empowering. Some kids don't even know, they've never been asked before, how do you coach me?
Right.
And being able to have that communication. So no, I absolutely love that. So, and again, when you building this and coming from those, and all those 3 E's come from not just the reading the Energy Bus, but also from all your other years. You have a lot of stories, sometimes funny, sometimes happy, sad. What's your favorite coaching story from over the years?
So I was thinking about that, and I had to dig down to the archives because obviously the state championships games come to mind, but that's not, those were fun, but that's not what it's all about. Like Windsor Forest, and I'll never forget this. Savannah Arts, if anybody's ever been in that gymnasium, it's literally like the gym, and then you're in, like, people are on top of you, and it's a very like small space. And at that time, Savannah Arts was like the powerhouse in our region. And our word for that year was gumption with those girls. And like having just that grit, that gumption, just not giving up. And that was our word for the year. And it was one of the last games of the season, and we beat them at their home place. And it's like those little victories like that I'll never forget, because it was just everything we had talked about, everything I was trying to instill in them that year. And it just kind of came together. Some of my favorite coaching moments, though, I do a lot of team bonding stuff, and I'm like really big into like team building and like getting to know the girls like off the court. And I enjoy those times. Like we just had one the other day. We made trucker hats, and we, had a pasta, like, and we hung out and swam, and just being able to really get to know the girls like off the court has been fun. And then obviously the first state championship that I won was one of my favorites, just because it's the first. Right. And then the third one, that was my first one as a head coach. Hopefully not the last, there's more to come. But that one was special because that group in particular was the group I was telling you about, that like I had the seniors and the juniors. And I wanted that win for them more than I've ever wanted to win. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't for me and for my accolades. It's just because I had seen them. And it was just like, since they were babies, I just wanted it so bad for them. And I was just so happy. So just all those like little things that like, you like the bus rides, like, it's just those little moments are like my favorite things, that it's not like one or two games or this or that. It's like all those little moments that people don't see off the court that are my favorite.
And those are one I've always said too. They'll remember some games. They
right.
will. They're not going to remember the scores. They'll remember Correct. They beat somebody. They're going to remember the bus ride home.
Yep.
Farting around in the locker room.
Yep.
All who they fought with,
yep.
how they made up, all that kind of stuff. And then but also too, in doing all that, you build those relationships with those kids where you probably still do communicate with those girls from Buford, and you will with these, and probably even some Windsor Forest
Absolutely.
ones. And you build those relationships. And so I always ask, if one of those girls or anybody ever comes to you and says, Coach Lecoeuvre, I want to be a head coach one day, what piece of advice would you give them?
That's a good one. You got to really have a passion for it, and you got to have like a bigger vision, because like if you're basing your status quo off your wins and losses, like you're going to have seasons. It's ebbs and flows in coaching. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I can't base like what I think of myself on how 16-year-old girls are going to produce on the volleyball court. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, you've got to just really be patient with the process. And then I would say have a goal and have a vision. Like, what does 5 years look like down the road? Like, what is your goal? And then make steps to make sure that each year you're kind of like getting there. And like, I have a 5-year plan here. And like I said, step one's laying the foundation, really diving into the middle school. But then it's like, you just got to keep building on that foundation year after year. And then just be prepared for the time commitment. Because, I mean, we know I'm married to a coach. It's a lot of time away from your family. Like I just missed my daughter's first home volleyball game. She just started playing volleyball because we had a match. And so it's like, it's a sacrifice, but to me, it's a sacrifice that's for the greater good. And like, that is my purpose and why I feel like God's put me on this earth, is to like serve and to give back to other girls through the platform of coaching, but just be mindful that it's time consuming. Yes. It's not just a 9-to-5 job. We're always on our phone. We're always thinking about the game. We're always trying to do better. And then the biggest thing that I would say that Buford taught me, and being over there with like Tony Wolf, we were talking about, they would always just ask us, coming back off this summer, like, what did you do for professional development? Like, did you read a book over the summer? What did you try to do to make yourself a better coach? And so I really, moving into this role, did a lot of reading this summer, because I said, what do I want a program to look like for me? Like, and to take over, what do I want to bring? So like, just to kind of just keep up with that professional development and just read and talk to people and ask as many questions to coaches as you can would be my advice.
And you mentioned that your husband was a coach.
I
did not preface this. I have known him since middle school. But for others, because I'm talking to more and more coaches, are setting up where both husband
Right.
and wife are both coaches or even head coaches. So if somebody was about to navigate those waters, you know, what's some advice for the co-head coach households?
You know, show each other a little grace. And Joel's done a really good job of transitioning into the role of being the house husband. You know, when I'm during season, I'll never forget the very first year he stopped coaching football because he was doing football and basketball for a while. Insert eye roll. So when he finally gave up football or stepped back for a little bit from that, he was like, wow, this is a lot. I'm like, yeah, you have to like get the kids from school. You have to like get them fed. You have to get them to practice. So just kind of showing each other grace, being organized with your logistics, and then just being supportive. Like, because he knows when basketball season's here, like, I'm going to return the favor. Like, you
Right.
don't have to think about anything. Like, I'm here to support you. And he's done a great job with that. So just making sure that that's that balance, and call your in-laws and all the people and all your friends, because Lord knows it takes the village to like
For sure.
help support that.
Oh yeah, no, and that's awesome. I'm going to get to him next. So Joel, I know you're going to watch this, so we're coming for you. You know, and one of the last things I always ask is the big idea behind the website and Coach Dooley's list is trying to really help coaches. I hope these videos help younger coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some good words from veterans, but also too, and just trying to hook them up with vendors, trying to save them time. So who's some vendors that you would shout out to other coaching buddies that you've loved working with?
We've had.
We're still here. We had to go with a fire alarm, and that's part of what happens. But, you know, just again, Coach, you know, one of the big reasons behind Coach Dooley's list is try to help coaches out, whether it's through the coaching videos or, you know, one of the big things is just the vendors. So do you have any vendors that you would love to shout out that other coaches would love to hear about?
Yeah, our main gear people are Baker Sports, and they've done a great job, like getting our fit, getting it in a timely manner. So we've been really happy with them. Carol Daniel, and then Jake Martin and Sons and Springer Mountain are kind of like our top contributors here for Gainesville athletics. And so we're very fortunate where we're at to have all these sponsors and to have so many people in the community that want to pour into athletics. So we're just very grateful to be here.
I love it. Well, listen, I'll definitely get those. I think some are on the website. I want to get the other ones on there. But, Coach, I do appreciate the time. Again,
Thank
fire
you.
drills, school,
That's all
teaching.
right.
We're out there.
First
at the
home
fire
game
drill.
tonight. We're ready.
First home game. This will air tomorrow morning.
Yes, let's
so
go.
If
Hopefully
you're seeing
we'll
this,
get
it's
it done.
Friday. Check Max Preps
Yep.
and see
Yeah.
if they got the victory. So,
I
Coach,
love it.
Thank you
I
so much.
appreciate you, buddy. Hey,
Appreciate you.
and go Big Red.
Go Big Red.